Welcome. Got an interesting project today. This is an Edwards pipe. This is a, let's see if I can focus that for you. It's always a guessing game with this camera. There we go. Edwards, and it is an Algerian briar. There we go. It's a nice little pipe. I picked it up, I don't know, about a year ago as an estate pipe. It was already refurbished, and it's a little pipe. It's got a fairly large tobacco chamber for a pipe this size. Unfortunately, that means the walls are a bit thin, so you do have to smoke this somewhat slowly. But it's a nice pipe, and I don't smoke it a lot, but occasionally, if I want a quick smoke during the day, this is a good one to have on hand. Fits easily in a pocket. So all in all, not a bad little pipe. The problem with this pipe is that it came with a bit of a ghost. So the owner of this pipe was an aromatic smoker, and I can tell you that I'm almost certain they were a Lane 1Q smoker, or one of the many names that Lane 1Q is sold under. It tasted, any tobacco that I put in it had an overtone of Lane 1Q. Now, I've had that happen before with estate pipes, and usually I can pass 4 or 5 bowls of Carter Hall through it, and the pipe will be fine. I'll never detect the aromatic taste after that. In this case, it didn't go away, and it was a very persistent ghost that I tried stronger and stronger tobaccos, and I just could not get the thing to go away. So finally I decided one day that what I would do is I would put the strongest tobacco that I had, which is Black XX Rope. If you've never had this tobacco, it is, well, it's unique. I like it, although I don't like it more than once every few months. It's definitely an acquired taste, and it's definitely a strong flavored tobacco. So anyway, I packed a bowl of Black XX into this and lit it up, and it smoked fine, and I didn't really detect much of the aromatic flavor, but of course there's so much of that Black XX flavor that it would have been hard to detect. A few days later, after I rested the pipe, I tried it with another tobacco. I don't remember what it was, but I now have a pipe that is ghosted with both Lane 1Q and Black XX. It is the most disappointing flavor you could imagine. It's just, there's nothing good about it. I don't think anyone, it would offend aromatic smokers, and it would equally offend non-aromatic smokers. So I've decided I've got to do something about that, because otherwise this is a really nice pipe. Now there's two options that we have dealing with this kind of a problem. Well, there's three, I guess. I mean, the one that has already been tried is you ream the pipe out, you smoke a few bowls of some other tobacco in it, and usually it goes away. The second option, which is what I'm going to show you today, is a salt and alcohol treatment, where we're going to actually fill the bowl with some salt, add alcohol to saturate that salt, and allow that to draw out the tars and oils from the briar, basically through an osmotic process. And that will work in 80–90% of the cases, and then if that doesn't work, we're going to have to go to a retort, where we're actually going to pass boiling alcohol vapor through the pipe. That's a bit more involved, and I'm hoping that I don't have to do that, because it's not one of my favorite things to do. So this pipe is, I'm doing a deep clean on this just as part of my normal rotation. I haven't done anything with it yet, except I reamed the bowl out. It had a little bit of cake buildup, nothing out of the ordinary, considering I only do this about every 6 months. And you can see the bowl is fairly clean and ready for this treatment. Otherwise, the stem's in fairly good shape. I will polish it up a bit when I'm done, clean the whole pipe. But by and far, this is in very good shape, because I'm maintaining them. So to do the salt and alcohol treatment, it's really pretty simple. I'm just going to prop this up. I've just got a little block of wood here that'll allow me to prop it up. And I'm hoping that I can do this without making a huge mess, because while I've done it before, I've never tried to do it under a camera. Let me just see if I can get a little bit more light on that for you. There we go. Unfortunately, with these lights, if I try to use them that close, although it's better viewing quality, I can't get my hands in there, so I'm still working on the lighting. Bear with me on that, and it will get better. New lights are on my Christmas list. Okay, so to do the salt treatment, I'm going to use sea salt. You can use kosher salt. You could probably use just plain table salt, although I haven't done that. I have used kosher salt. Sea salt's a little bit coarser, and they all work. It really doesn't matter, because what you're relying on here is the osmotic properties of the salt alcohol solution. If you remember your biology or chemistry, things are going to flow, or water is going to flow towards the highest concentration of a solute, which in a saturated salt solution is going to be towards the salt. So I've got a piece of paper here, and I'm just going to pour some of the salt onto it, which is slightly out of shot, but you could hear it. And now I'm going to use the paper to sort of try to funnel that into the tobacco tube. Oh, wait a minute. I skipped a step. Before I do that, I'm going to insert, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stem off. Doesn't matter, but it's a little bit easier to maneuver a pipe cleaner in. So I'm just going to take the stem off, and I'm going to insert a pipe cleaner down until it's just poking into the chamber. And there, that will be even more challenging to keep upright, so we'll just kind of loop that like so. Okay, and the reason for that is that we don't want the alcohol getting wicked back up into the stem. It doesn't matter, but we'd really like to keep the alcohol in the tobacco chamber, because that's where it's going to do its job. So now we'll just try to fill that chamber with salt. Okay, just a little over there. Just even that out. Perfect. So let me put this salt back into the container before I spill it all over my workbench. Okay, and now we're going to use good old Everclear, 95% ethanol, and I have a little dropper here that I'm going to use to add the Everclear. And what we're looking for is we're looking to saturate this but not dissolve it, and it's going to be really difficult to dissolve the salt in the alcohol anyway. That looks, yeah, that looks really just about what I'm looking for. So we've sort of filled it. You can see if I just add another drop and you look around the edges, you'll be able to see that there's some liquid there. So that's good. It's that simple, really. So now what we're going to do is just leave that, and I'll leave it overnight, and when I come back to you, you will see the results. Well, it's the next day. The pipe has been sitting just as we left it for approximately 20 hours now, and as you can see, the salt is not the color that it used to be. I neglected to turn on the light here, so let's bring a little bit more light up. So it's obviously become rather brown and black around the edges. The pipe cleaner that I put down into the shank here has discolored quite a bit, as has the wooden block that it was propped against. So some of that alcohol had wicked up into the shank, which is fine. And we basically are done at this point. So we'll just pull this out and break up that salt a little bit to show you what we're left with. It's rather hard. And you can see that in the center there hasn't been so much. It was really just on the top that gunk accumulated. But there we have it. We'll pull the pipe cleaner out, and we're left with what is, in theory, a clean, deghosted bowl. And, well, it smells a bit ethanol-y, and there might still be a slight scent of of an aromatic tobacco in there. So this guy might have to be retorted. And as I said, it was a rather persistent, sorry, I'm looking in and not showing you what I'm looking at here. It's just the chamber. There's nothing interesting in there really. I just get distracted sometimes. It is a rather strong ghost in this pipe, so we may have to resort to using the retort method, which wouldn't be a bad thing because that would probably be interesting to show you. At any rate, I will put this back together. I'm thinking about maybe giving it a second salt treatment since... Alright guys, so what I decided to do here was to do a second run, a second salt treatment. After looking during the last part of the video, I realized that well, first off, there was still a pretty strong aromatic scent in the chamber, so it hadn't achieved what I had hoped it would achieve. And also the salt, just for the most part, didn't look very well used, and I was wondering if the alcohol actually had gotten too aggressively wicked up by that pipe cleaner. So I set this up again. I actually pre-wet the pipe cleaner to kind of minimize that wicking, and did a very similar thing to what you saw me do a few moments ago the first time around. This is now set for another 24 hours in this case. And I'm about to crack the surface of the salt and see what happens. So we'll just bring in some paper to catch that. And I need to find my little tool here. Alright, let's see if we can get some light on the bowl for you. Looks like a tobacco chamber. It's actually a lot better. Still slight off smell in there that you know, maybe this is just going to require a full retort to really get rid of that, but I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to, you know, put the pipe back together and smoke it and see if that's taking care of it. If not, I'll probably just keep it going for a bit, and then in a few months' time, when I do another cleaning of this, I'll go ahead and use the retort, which is a way to pass basically boiling alcohol fumes through, or vapor through the pipe, and have it condense on the walls, and that can really draw out a lot of the tars and the various things that are causing that ghosting. Probably the flavoring components from the tobacco have just gotten into the briar and mixed with the tars from the tobaccos and sort of bonded up in the pores of the wood. So the retort can actually sort of flux that hot alcohol in and out of those pores and helps to draw a lot of it out. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this. That process does work typically very well, although this pipe had a particularly challenging ghost, as I described at the outset, so it's not surprising that it hasn't been 100% effective. But the proof is in the smoking, so we'll see how this goes. And I thank you much for watching. And please feel free to comment. I'd love to hear if you've tried salt treatment, if you've had success with it, or if you have other methods of deghosting the pipe that you'd like to talk about. I'd really love to hear about those. And, you know, any other questions you might have or comments. And please do, if you haven't already, subscribe. I do want to say I really appreciate the folks that have subscribed. I've gotten quite a few over the past week or two, and it's great to see that. It you know, just reassures me that somebody's finding this interesting and that I'm not just wasting my time sitting in my basement talking to myself. So thanks for that, and I will look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.